Is Lexus heading in the right direction? Well, this year so far, they're in the perfect direction. Lexus is recording its best ever first half sales in its 35-year-old history. They could very well dethrone BMW this year as the number one luxury automaker here in North America. June sales were up 6%, second quarter sales up 9%, first half sales up 12%. Electrified sales in the first half up 46%, and best ever June sales for electrified vehicles, for crossovers, ES hybrid, NX hybrid, NX plug-in hybrid, RX plug-in hybrid, RZ fully electric, the TX, well, the TX on stop sale right now. But Lexus is being extremely ambitious right now. We have two articles to discuss in terms of design, as well as how the Lexus brand will drive in the future. And those two things, coupled with Lexus's vision for electrification, makes me wonder if they're headed straight for their own trap. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kirk if you're new, and I talk about auto industry news. This channel actually started as mainly a Lexus channel. I used to be a Lexus master sales consultant for a few years, and then pandemic hit. I went full-time YouTube, and Lexus has always been a piece of the core of this channel that will never ever change. And while my opinion of the brand continues to change as the brand keeps changing, it gives us a lot to talk about. I'll just say that, as we have a lot of new products, a lot of new strategy from Lexus to break down and discuss today. And are they headed in the right direction? I think it's getting a bit cloudy. So let's start with this article over Automotive News. So their resident journalist over in Japan, Hans Greimel, has been over at the Shimiyama Test Course and Research and Development Center for Lexus. It's the new headquarters for Lexus globally. The test course there is essentially like a mini Nürburgring, and they're able to do all sorts of car testing there. As Akio Toyota likes to do, break, fix, repeat to make ever better cars. And they also have a design studio there. It's fantastic. I hope to visit it one day. This new brand taste is getting me a little worried. Is Lexus setting the trend, or are they just looking at where the industry is and putting their own flavor on it? There's pros and cons to this approach right now. They want to deliver a better driving signature, which is now possible to do. All right, since they are able to test, repeat and test at this new test course in Japan, they can make a distinct driving signature. Lexus has been benchmarking Audi, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Lexus is finally zeroed in a way to match their European, specifically German counterparts. Don't forget Porsche also being held on this pedestal. The Lexus engineers have been studying these vehicles specifically since 2018, and Lexus cannot hold a candle to the Germans in body rigidity. And Lexus is adding support braces to the front, rear, and two middle tunnel sections of every nameplate to boost rigidity and have better handling feel. They're planning to roll out these improvements of these structural braces for annual model changes and mid-cycle updates. And Lexus is calling this Ajimigaki. And this is them refining the taste, and all their vehicles are going to have this same Lexus branded taste. They should all drive similar. Now, Lexus is always driven pretty similar on the softer end, on the comfort end. They are kind of going, in theory, with all this added rigidity, so these cars handle better. Theory, more rigidity means less comfort. And if Lexus is adding this new taste of higher rigidity, could that affect its plush riding feel? Well, I feel like most of the plush riding feel of Lexus vehicles has been diminished throughout the years anyways. I mean, the ES still embodies it. The LS still embodies it, right? They're luxury sedans. But even the RX, unless you get, some smaller wheels on that, even that's more sporty, way more sporty than it used to be. The last non-sporty RX, let's say, was the 2015 model year RX. And that thing if you're able to find, well, they're everywhere here in North America, but they are super cloudy, very like old school, you could say Cadillac feeling. All that feel from old school Lexus seems to be pretty much taken out of all of their cars at this point. And you could say that was one of the most important things for Lexus and how they became successful. Markets change, consumer preferences change, and is a consumer for Lexus really looking for a better handling drive experience, or are they looking for that plush ride? You can have better rigidity while still offering a better ride, but I feel like how this is going is Lexus wants better handling SUVs, better handling sedans, and you need a stiffer ride to be able to accomplish that. Now, I really like how BMWs ride. I like how Audi's takes a little bit of a softer approach, more like Lexus compared to, I would say, BMW. Mercedes, also a more softer approach. Lexus is probably not going to be as razor sharp as a BMW with its handling. Maybe they try to settle to be more like Audi because, man, yeah, I can't, even the IS, throwing the IS around, I'd rather be in the Audi counterpart than the IS more times than not, even though I know Audis are front wheel drive. Is this, man, they feel like they're on rails. The IS, not quite sure. Actually, the IS 500, it's a bit of a letdown of a vehicle for me. I wish it was much more sharp, from the brake feel to the steering to the transmission, etc., as well as the exhaust note. Don't get me started on that. Lexus has improvements to do, especially on the performance end, but are they going to bake too much of that stiff handling and stiff ride into their SUVs? It will be interesting to see if that hurts sales. So far, it hasn't. If you look at the 2016, the 4th and 5th gen RXs, they're far more sporty, far more less plush of a ride, but it hasn't been hurting Lexus as of yet. Takaki Nakanishi, head analyst at Nakanishi Research Institute in Tokyo, says Lexus needs passion and impact because driving passion is still one of the most important values of a premium brand, and people who spend money on these cars really like to drive. Well, some like to drive. Some just want to be pampered. And is Lexus turning its back on, I would say, the majority of its target base? Or are they going to try to conquest these German buyers with better handling and a better driving feel? Now, we know gigacasting is coming in 2026, and this will bake in additional structural rigidity. In the past, Lexus had focused on putting rigidity mainly in the rear portion of the vehicle. They said they didn't understand the 4 body positions. We learned about it from studying the competition, and when we realized it, we wanted to add it to all Lexus models. So adding support to the front module and to the front and rear tunnel segments have been introduced in the RZ, for example, since 2022. The NX actually received these updates to the front end in March 2023 and then to the rear in March 2024. And they're testing everything from the ES to the LM, which I wish we had the LM in here in North America. Watch my impressions on it when I sat in it in Japan. But we confronted it can be done across the lineup. So they won't even make their minivan more fun to drive. And while they can add structural braces to current models, let's say in a new model year, for example, the real goal is to add supports to all 4 modules, which requires more extensive platform overhauls. Yes, they are 100% limited. Every single car you see right here is on this is an old picture of the RZ. Is that like a high performance RZ? I don't know why that's in camouflage there. Anyways, every single one of these vehicles is on a TNGA K platform or C platform if we look at the UX, which I have some UX news for you guys, so stay to the end. All these are on a TNGA platform, which is shared, of course, with Toyota vehicles. And because they share so much with Toyota models, you are going to have some limitations on how rigid you can make them without coming out with an all-new platform with it, which Lexus is not going to do. They are not benchmarking Tesla, interestingly. Well, they said that Lexus just isn't interested with how a Tesla drives. And the last few Teslas I've been in, the ride quality and the suspension, it's not good for a luxury tier vehicle. So it doesn't surprise me why they're not benchmarking them, at least in ride quality and driving field. I guarantee they're benchmarking Tesla with software, driving range, efficiency, that sort of thing. Tesla's not known for having the best driving mechanics or even ride mechanics. So Lexus is only looking at the best here with Porsche, BMW, etc. Here's another area of concern. Toyota design boss asked if radical Lexus next-gen EV styling is going to be okay. So I spent time with the LFZC in Japan as well as the LFZL. I'll go ahead and play some of that B-roll while I'm reading through this article. They mentioned the spindle grille, which has been polarizing since 2012, 2013 when it debuted. Now we're going for the spindle body, and they might be going too far with radical design. Now, Lexus wants to set themselves apart with this origami-like styling. I don't know if this is what their customers would be interested in. Now, Lexus is trying to be unique, and as a premium brand, you don't want to really look like anything else, all right? So I get it, but these hard edges might be too much for the average buyer. Now, these vehicles will be gigacasted from the front module to the rear module to the battery pack underneath. And inherently, that will make this vehicle a lot more rigid as well. Instead of having 100 pieces to make up the rear section of the vehicle, you just have one piece. So that reduced cost, improve manufacturing times, and also increases rigidity and potentially safety as well. Also with the LFZC, for example, which could be coming in 2026 as a production car, its name will change, of course. Could be the HZ, for example, because that's trademark. It sits very, very, very low to the ground, which is great for handling. It's great for range. It's great for aerodynamics. It's great for having that curb appeal. But is this sort of the vehicle that Lexus drivers are going to want, that it sits so low to the ground? I mean, crossovers is the name of the game for the brand, unfortunately, for car enthusiasts, right? So, but they will be coming out with EVs on this platform that sit much higher. But again, it's still going to be lower to the ground. And a large portion of their buyers are elderly people who don't want to have to squat, or they can't squat for whatever reason, to get down into the car. And they like having that visibility and sitting up high. So with these new EVs that sit low, makes me a little bit worried. The last trap that they could fall into is going fully EV. They haven't backed out of this yet, despite the cooling of EV demand across most of their markets. All right. North American market, EVs are cooling. European market, EVs are cooling. Chinese market, definitely not the case. And so by 2030, in China, North America, and Europe, they want to be fully electric. I think having that goal for China makes sense for me. But the strength of Lexus is not battery electric yet. The strength of Lexus is their hybrids. 40 miles a gallon in an NX or RX, while still having a very plush ride, a very smooth engine performance and engine character and driving experience. Even though their hybrids can't give you the performance of a fully electric vehicle in terms of acceleration, they are lighter, they don't have range anxiety, but they still give you that old school Lexus quiet, refined experience, especially as we start seeing the fifth gen hybrids come into the Lexus lineup. And then if they double down on going fully electric across their three key markets, I think that's going to backfire on them. We know there's going to be a 3-row battery electric vehicle coming out of the Kentucky plant. In my opinion, they should offer it not only as a fully battery electric, but offer it as a range extended vehicle. All right. Hyundai recently just mentioned that, hey, by 2026, they're going to have range extended plug-in hybrids. So the vast majority of driving is going to be done on a 100-mile battery or somewhere around there, or battery electric range 100 miles. Then you'll have a small, efficient onboard engine to provide additional range as the range extender. I really hope Lexus and Toyota offer that sort of technology on Lexus before they decide to go fully electric. And I also, in my opinion, they should go back on fully electric in North America and in Europe. Stay fully electric in China. That's where the market is. Give us better hybrid technology, better electric range on their plug-in hybrids, and more performance. Then I think we could all be okay and feel better about the future of Lexus. Between going fully electric by 2030, that's a red flag for me. They could be falling into a trap there. They could be falling into a trap with having too sporty of a ride, as they're just adding all these structural braces to their cars. They also could be falling into a trap with their styling. I mean, these concepts were great. All right, this concept here, I like this one as well. I think the styling on the TZ is fine. The sports concept is fantastic. The IS concept was fantastic. But this sort of styling, I don't want to see. Lexus, you can do better than this origami, blocky, Tron-ish like styling with the spindle grill still in there. It makes me worried for the future of the brand going too radical. But I'll see you guys in the comments on that if you agree with me, if Lexus is 3 pitfalls to really take the brand down. But I want to go over this Mag X news update for the UX. The UX absolutely needs a massive update. I can't recommend the vehicle the way it is unless you get a killer deal on it. It's too small. Not like the performance isn't good enough compared to the Toyota counterparts. It's really expensive also for what it is. So we're going to talk about the new UX today, and it gives me some excitement, some hope for the vehicle. But let's read into what MagX is saying from Japan. The UX could become fully EV. How do I feel about that? Well, I just talked about how fully EV could be a very dangerous thing as for the entire brand to go through. But for the UX, I still don't think it would be smart to go fully electric on this vehicle. But a fully electric version could remedy the space shortcomings of the vehicle. If this is on a new platform where the battery just sits at the bottom, you're not going to have a compromise in the cargo space of the current UX. You're able to make the interior much more roomy. And if it gets to be too much bigger, then it starts stepping on the heels of the NX. But if they're able to keep it more like the CT, a wagon, they're saying it will be coming in 2026. And it will still be used on the GAC platform. It will not have the gigacasting. Despite its limitations, even on the C platform, hopefully they can make it large enough to make it a more recommendable vehicle. Saying 650 kilometers of range. So in miles, that'd be 400 miles. That sounds great. No, well, that's best case scenario on the European or WLTP cycle. But if we divide that, it'll be about 350 miles of range, best case scenario for this UX. If this little car can get 350 miles of range, that's really, really good, especially if it's priced right. That sounds too good to me right now. Let's look at the other figure that they have here, 600 kilometers, which would be 326. That's more realistic for a smaller car like this. Now, you got to keep in mind the UX does not sell that well in the United States. It's more of a European vehicle, and EVs tend to be doing a little bit better in Europe, but sales are going down there for EVs. A big part of that is because Germany pulled their incentives for electric cars, as well as other European nations. The good news here, in order to get more internal space, more luggage space, occupant space, they're extending the wheelbase and the length of the roof, and the angle of the rear quarter pillars will be revised. So to me, this sounds more like a wagon than it does a tiny compact crossover. Honestly, for the United States market, I don't really want to see this as a BEV. I'd rather see it as an extended range plug-in hybrid, small gasoline engine in there to be your range extender, and then let's say 200 miles of electric range. That would potentially drive up the cost, though. Time will tell what Lexus is going to do with their plug-in hybrids, their hybrids. If they go fully electric by 2030 here in North America, I think they would be shooting themselves in the foot. Hybrids are Toyota and Lexus's strongest attributes right now, in my opinion. They're very reliable. They're very efficient. And you guys have seen with my Camry videos, the 5th gen hybrid system from Toyota is absolutely fantastic. Getting away from that before the market's ready, before battery technology, before the ecosystem's ready, fully electric to be more welcome, to be more usable, I think Lexus could be jumping the gun and it could hurt them and they could fall into their own trap. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.